15 years. She doesn't cook or work. She doesn't even have kids. Eventually, a bowl of rice ended up destroying her marriage. Her husband went to work for the day, came home hungry, starving, but his wife was only concerned with her own leisure. She never made food for the man, causing Bob to have to regularly eat at restaurants to solve his dinner problem. As a result of frequently visiting Lily's restaurant, the two of them ended up having a child together. When the wife found out about this, she completely collapsed. She never thought she'd lose to a chubby woman. What Mary couldn't accept the most was that her husband betrayed their marriage just for eating another woman's cooking and had a child with her. But Bob felt that having a meal was very important to him every day. After a whole day of work, eating was the only way he could have the energy to get things done. But in the 15 years he'd been married to his wife, she never cooked for him. Every time he came home, he had to endure being hungry. He had no choice but to go to Lily's restaurant to fill his stomach. For the past 15 years, it was Lily's food that kept him going. From a young age, his mother never let him go hungry. It was all thanks to the food that allowed him to study hard and become a lawyer. Yet all the money he earned as a lawyer, he gave to his wife. But what did his wife give back to him in return? She couldn't even prepare 3 meals a day for him. After all, as a lawyer, he was so busy every day. All he wanted when he got home was to have a hot meal. But ever since getting married, he had lost 36 pounds. Every time he opened the fridge at home, it was empty. That's when he felt that being married was pointless. His wife didn't do anything, not even prepare meals for him. Even when his mother would make food for him and bring it over specially, his wife would make sarcastic remarks and tell the old woman not to come to their home so often. She didn't realize that after her father passed away, her mother was left all alone, living painfully. She would come over every few days just to get a glimpse of her son, but the way his wife treated her own mother was truly heartbreaking. Why was it that his wife's sister could stay at their home for 2 whole years, but when his mother-in-law wanted to visit a few times, the wife would act displeased? Although Bob grumbled at his wife about his dissatisfaction with married life, he knew that this time it was truly his own fault, and an unforgivable mistake at that, because the damage was too great. He had no way to seek his wife's forgiveness. At the same time, he also felt too exhausted, even though he had married his wife out of love. In the end, he had to rip his own heart apart. After getting it off his chest, Bob angrily wanted to leave the house, because he never imagined that a single meal could ruin his marriage. In this moment, he found it too ridiculous. Aunt and the second sister, because of the couple's affairs, found Bob again, hoping he would quickly deal with his relationship with Lily and return to the family. If he really wants a child, he can discuss it with his wife. This time he really went too far. If he can't bear to part with the child, he could fight for custody. Bob knows the child is Lily's lifeline. She would never easily give up the child's custody. No choice. The two aunts, taking the niece, decided to meet Lily in person. They immediately warned the woman to quickly leave Bob's life and better disappear forever with the child. Facing the 3 women coming at her, Lily was not afraid at all, even boastfully believing that this relationship could not be ended just because she wanted to. Her identity as the child's mother and the late-life child, how important this was to Bob. The women in front of her were so arrogant. The younger aunt was so angry that she wanted to step forward to properly teach this woman a lesson. After all, Mary was so much stronger than her. She may be stronger, but she can't have a child. The 3 women were speechless when they heard this, so they started to doubt whether the child was really Bob's. To their surprise, Lily had already known they would use this trick. She slapped the paternity test results in front of them. This left them all momentarily at a loss for words. Just as Lily was about to leave, she accidentally ran into Mary. It turned out the aunts and sister had also interfered in her private affairs. What angered the woman even more was that she was openly challenged by Lily. At this moment, Mary angrily blamed her family members for not letting her handle this herself. This was something she should deal with personally. In order to get the couple to divorce quickly, Lily called the man in tears. Soon Bob rushed to the restaurant. He scolded the aunts, believing it was his own mistake, and they shouldn't have bothered Lily. After all, she still needed to care for the child peacefully. This made the aunts extremely angry. They sighed that Lily's tactics were really extraordinary. That day, Bob's mother brought some small dishes to visit her son and daughter-in-law, but after pressing the doorbell for a while, no one opened the door for her, and Mary was asleep and didn't hear the sound, so the old lady could only call to tell her son the door code. The moment she opened the fridge, it was completely empty. Because she was worried her son had not eaten, the old lady busied herself in the kitchen, preparing a hearty dinner for Bob. But the sound of cooking woke up the daughter-in-law. Suddenly there was a stranger in the house, which naturally frightened the woman.